Hello and welcome to the Cloud Council. I'm Andrew Brinded. I'm pleased to be joined firstly by Louise McCarthy, who is a Business Transformation Director. I'm also joined by Mark Aikman, who is a Digital Transformation Consultant. CIOs normally have to make investment decisions over a period of perhaps a year, and they'll do that carefully and thought through. At the moment, they've got to do short-term decisions, pacey. But how do you do that with still having the same levels of due diligence and control?
Yeah, good question. I think actually most CIOs look at it over 3 years as opposed to a year. I think with a yearly kind of reignition of it all. I think from my perspective, due diligence is still critical. I think it goes back to Louise's point before about what's the purpose of your transformation. Most of the projects in fact, all of the projects I've been involved in have had a very clear purpose, and therefore the technology decisions have obviously reinforced that purpose. So from the outset, most CIOs have a good target of solutions, whether it be in sales, supply chain, marketing, whatever it happens to be. They have a good idea, and there's enough great products out there that effectively it shortens your due diligence dramatically. And the critical thing for me is, and I think the game changer for me with cloud is certainly with the software as a service type products. You as a business can go and pretty much, not necessarily 100%, but you can pretty much go out there and purchase an off-the-shelf SaaS product, which has been trialed with many thousands of customers. It comes within the inbuilt processes. It comes in with, all of the benefits, they scream it at you when you obviously purchase the product. So effectively, your due diligence may not be actually with the product, but maybe with a customer or, someone who you can talk to say, look, this is what I'm trying to do. This is my purpose. This is my intent. Has that product achieved that for you? So I think, creatively, I think the great thing with software as a service type products is all of that due diligence is kind of done for you because effectively you're subscribing to it. So the question for you is, rather than, is it right for me? It's kind of like, is the subscription I'm going to buy, will it do what I need it to do as part of this department that I'm trying to apply it to?
Okay, and staying on the similar theme, Louise, you're advising IT directors all the time. They want to conserve cash at the moment. Cash is king, as we all know, through recession. They want to invest wisely, but they've also got to deliver change and agility. How do you reconcile all of that?
My background previously to doing transformation was a CFO. So I can hear and completely understand what the CFOs are saying in terms of decision making around capital prioritization. So I've always built that into my toolbox of transformation. And I would say there's 3 stages of transformation that I put in my toolbox, which I've always found useful and tends to work. The first phase is around exec sponsorship and ownership. It's got to be owned by the business, not by technology. So I go through that process of identifying all the processes in the organization, and I put them into what I call the 9-box grid. So it's all your customer facing processes, all your asset and supply processes, and all your shared service processes. And then the next phase of it is identifying the pain points. After you've mapped all the processes, get the employees who run those processes to be involved in the process mapping workshops and get the pain points. And then I convert those pain points into business cases and solutions. Once you've got those business cases and solutions, you can split them into 2 halves. There's the quick wins, and then there's the more technical portfolio type things. And the quick wins is where it comes into the investment. Because if you do quick wins, they should give you savings relatively quickly within a short period of time. And they will give you cash to then reinvest in the more strategic technology solutions that most people don't have the money for. So in terms of doing this in a way that you can preserve cash, you're not draining the cash, but you're also prioritizing the way you do your delivery of your transformation. Do the ones that give you the cash first, and then reinvest those second ones in the more technology, cloud-based, SaaS-based, integrated platforms, which cost more money and take more time.
And Louise, what you've described there sounds like a typical consultancy engagement in terms of getting the advice of the stakeholders, engaging people, going through a process. But some of these companies at the moment, they're going, look, I'm not got any cash in 6 to 12 months time. We have to change now and deliver that IT application transformation now. How can they circumvent that process and deliver our agility today?
Well, I think this is absolutely, for some industries. I know for Mark's industry, it's a growing industry and it's a very busy industry during COVID-19. But some other industries have been resisting the transformation because it's getting off the hamster wheel of normal course of business, and you're using the same people. In this downtime, it would be a perfect opportunity for the business to engage with its process owners and the users and the people that run the processes, and do process mapping in this downtime. Because when they do that process mapping in the downtime, the employees will be begging for changes to their processes and automation of their processes. And the perfect opportunity is identifying the RPA opportunities. So identify the opportunities that can be robotic process automation using technology such as Tricentis, etc. That would automate the processes and free up cash, and you can do that within weeks. We mapped in my last transformation 350 processes across the whole organization in 8 weeks, identified 350 pain points and converted those pain points into quick wins that you can deliver within 3 months to free up cash. So RPA is a great, if you can do one thing in this downtime, is map your processes, get people engaged, and identify the quick win opportunities like RPA that you can get on with really, really quickly. That would save and free up resources for more strategic things.
I would also say, Andrew, if I can add to that, I think, you know, and coming from a kind of a technology guy, technology might not be the answer. Yeah, I think a lot of the time companies, you know, can take this time, as Louise said, to look at the processes they've currently got. You know, there's no one better than the process owners to understand where their frustration's on. So there's 2 things I would say to it. Is one, you can bring in an expert, bring in someone independent, because as much as you can listen and you can work with the process owner, you're naturally biased to what you want to hear, selective hearing. If you bring someone in to act as that facilitator, that arbitrator, to try and get efficiencies from your processes, you may not need to spend any money on technology. You're going to get savings potentially straight away from that. If it does free up cash and you do need to, you know, and you have got the ability to spend that cash on technology, then fine. You know, that's kind of for me the next stage. But I think for me personally, technology is not always the answer to things, and I think we've got to get out of this, you know, hamster wheel of buying more and more technology, which is going to make things better and better and better. Actually, the reality of it is simplification is critical, and making sure that people who are running the processes make them as efficient as possible. And if you can bring in technology to make it robotic and take them away from a manual perspective, even better.
Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Mark.